one and all. I'm having trouble figuring out new ways of saying hello.
Buenos
Yes.
dias.
Buenos dias to Bryden.
Okay, don't take me literally.
Howdy. Yeah.
I'm actually starts climbing.
Hey, mate.
Welcome to Talking with Tom and Jim. Tom Goldrup, Jim Goldrup. They're film historians. They've written 4 books. Yeah, you guys just talk. They've done all kinds of stuff. If you don't know by now, no, they've written 4 books on the golden age of Hollywood. They're world travelers. They are not Beverly Hillbillies. They are experts in the gnome mobile, and who knows what else. And so, thank you guys for being here on your show, as always. And then next to me is Matthew Rose, who is nice enough to be here. And I never say anything nice about you, by the way. I just say thanks for being here. Matthew is a writer and a producer and an actor, and he's done crazy prop work most of his existence, or as long as I've known him, the decades that I've known him. So master prop guy as well. So you can see where he is. What do you do? I don't know. So welcome. Yeah, exactly. Welcome,
Hey,
everyone.
Hey, Matthew.
Thank you.
So
Thank
I
you.
have this is sort of a free-form thing that I thought of the other day. So I just wanted to ask you guys a couple of questions. I don't know if it's going to go anywhere. But first question, what's your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest childhood memory is, it has to be my earliest one, is sitting on my great-grandfather's lap. James Buchanan, England. He was married to the Clanton. But sitting on his lap, and he would have a little block. They would have a letter on one side and a picture of an animal on the other side. And he would get a kick out of it because he would show me the block with either the letter, usually with the letter, and to ask me what's on the other side, and I would be able to tell him what the animal was. So I figured that's my first bit of memorization, and that's also, I think that's my earliest memory.
How old were you?
Oh, before Jim was born. 1940, 43, 40, probably 1.5, 2 at the most.
Okay.
2.
Cool. Jim?
I'll have to say 2 things because I don't know which came first. One being a baby sitting sitting in a little swing, and looking over towards the doorway that goes into the kitchen.
That's in Monte Vista.
And seeing my mom walking back and forth. The other one is I was a baby, and we were visiting our mom's uncle, and our mom thought I'd be happy probably sitting on the blanket out on the front lawn in the sun, and so she put me out there. And I remember being on the blanket, looking through the windows. I could see the silhouettes of people moving around inside, thinking, I wish I could be in there. I have no idea. I was a baby, so I have no idea how
old they were.
You know, I might have been a year at the most.
That's so good.
That's funny.
First movie I remember seeing was, it's a toss-up. I'm not sure which one came out first. Was either Red River with John Wayne or Whispering Smith with Alan Ladd. We'd go, our mom and dad would take us all, pile us into the cars, and we'd go to the drive-in theater, and my uncle would take his family and drive next to us and watch the movies. Those are the first 2 movies I remember seeing.
I remember those 2, and I remember Rocket Ship XM.
That came later.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Rocket Ship XM.
Yeah, we're gonna watch that tonight on DVD. Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Nice. So good.
The first movie I remember seeing was Empire Strikes Back. I think I was 4. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the first movie I'd ever been brought to. I was 4, and we were sitting right in the front row. And the only thing I remember about it is the Hoth world, where all the snow is, and just being mesmerized. Like, what is this? because I'd never been in snow before. In fact, I hadn't. The first time I was in snow was in my early 30s. So like, but I remember just, what is this? You know, seeing this big screen and all this snow. I don't remember anything else. But yeah, so Empire Strikes Back. So Matthew, there you go.
My first movie memory is Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Oh.
Going to that. And and I remember scared of going underwater. I remember thinking like, how are they doing that? Like, how are they not drowning? I was little.
What movie was that? What movie was that?
Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Oh.
It's like a Disney Mary Poppins.
Right.
Recapitalize the Mary Poppins and create something like that. So they did Bedknobs and Broomsticks, and I just remember, honestly, my takeaway from that was that Bedknobs were magical. Like, I believe that was like something that I was like 25 before I realized they're not magical at all.
Your wife's just like, dude.
But then thousands of them.
Bedknobs are magical because you turn it and it opens the door into who knows what.
I tried.
New adventure lies beyond that door.
I just saw, well, not just now, maybe 6 months ago. I saw Bedknobs and Broomsticks in Milton Keynes in the UK. They're doing a tour, where they were, of Bedknobs and Broomsticks across the country, and I was in Milton Keynes. Actually, I went to Milton Keynes to see it, and it was very, very good. Like, on stage, it was pretty amazing that they could transfer things on stage. And we're getting to a time, technologically, where you can do so much on stage that you can move these things that were so magical and keep that magic. I mean, it's a little different, and things are different and whatnot, but you almost want it to be different because you don't. Otherwise, you just go watch the movie. You know. But the fact that they could do these things now on stage is pretty amazing.
I would love to work on set design again, because that now I think you could be so transformative. It would be mind blowing.
Well, I remember. Now we're way off, but that's okay. I remember this was 20 years ago. How old am I? Yeah, almost 20 years ago, right? Because, well, maybe not quite. Maybe 20 years ago exactly. I'm trying to remember. Liam was, when we met, Liam was just born, right?
Yeah.
And
Liam was when we met, right?
Yeah, and so he's 20 now?
20.
Okay, so maybe this was like 17 years ago. But 17 years ago, Matthew came to me at the theater. We were doing a production of Harvey, and we were just sitting there talking, and you said to me, in the future, and not very far off, there will be 3D printers where when we need props, we can just print them and paint them. We don't have to go finding things. I think we were talking about finding old phones for something that we were getting, that was coming up. And I was like, I've got to find these stupid old phones, and I can't find. And you were saying, in the future, we could just print them and create anything we wanted. And I was like, yeah, whatever, crazy guy. Yeah. And
27 years ago, Jim and I were standing on the ground at 18,630 feet altitude.
27, no.
18,000, not 27 years ago, 17 years ago. Yeah, yes.
I was going to say, I think you guys think you're arguing about different things. You're talking about the height, you're talking about the year.
17 years ago, we were standing on the ground at over 18,000 feet up in altitude.
Wow.
I remember going to the movies when I was a kid in Sonoma, a quarter, you pay 25 cents, see a double feature, cartoons, newsreel, a short.
And a nickel, you can buy a bag of popcorn.
Yeah, a dime.
A dime.
A bag of popcorn, a nickel for your candy bar.
Wow.
I do now, but they don't welcome me back when I do that. They just flick a 10 piece off their forehead and just run into the theater as fast as you can. And
when I was a kid in the 80s, my grandparents' neighbor would always ask us kids if we would want to come over to her house to do chores, and she would pay us. And my grandparents said, no, never say yes. And we're like, okay. And they said because she has no understanding of economics. And so when you go over and you'll work for like an hour and she'll be really grateful and give you a nickel.
I did that too. I worked for a lady named Mrs. Lega Marcino, and I'd work all day picking dandelions and weeds, just way down in the hot dirt, and clear her property. And she goes, "You did such a great job," and she would cook me a sausage, and that's all I got was like.
So
It's
my-
110 degrees,
my-
and I get 110 degree sausage as my payment. I was like, I'm not coming back.
My mom's stepfather, bounty grandfather, I knew. I was about 8 or 9 years old. I was down visiting them for a few days. And he asked me if I would go out and mow the back lawn. And I said, how much you pay? And he never let me live that down. Every time he saw me after that,
How much you pay?
how much you pay?
We used to pick cans of blackberries out in the field in back of our place in Sonoma, and go door to door, sell some blackberries, and then the rest my mom would make. Our mom would make blackberry pie, but the cans of blackberries we sold, we'd make enough money for us 4 brothers to take off and go to the movies.
And sometimes going to the movies, the first showing we get out, people will be leaving the theater. And as they're leaving the theater,
Oh, you did it one time.
I did one. I'd walk in backwards.
He walked in back.
Okay, I know that as a stereotype joke type thing, but you really did it.
Really
Did it
is.
work?
It worked.
It worked that one time.